Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger. My friends, Evo 2026 has wrapped up and it's one for the history books. There's been a lot of great things happening on site, lots of great matches, lots of just great stories and adventures. I myself had a blast, and of course, as far as the channel goes, there's also tons of news to talk about. Now, some of this is covered in other videos. If you haven't already seen the Virtual Fighter Bakunawa Killer video, it's already live. We also have a breakdown of Magneto and Marvel Tokon, and also a video with some of the other news that happened on day one. They're all linked in the video description, and we're going to go to the big reveals now from the final day of Evo. But before we get into that, first a word from our FGC sponsor. So today we're going to be talking about respected controller maker 8BitDo and their latest product. That being the 8BitDo Arcade Controller Pro, the latest and greatest in fighting game leverless controllers. This latest generation leverless controller has a lot of fantastic features like a built-in input display. It is wireless ready if you don't want to plug it in. Fully customizable all button layout through the 8BitDo Ultimate Software package. Extra programmable buttons for extra flexibility. A magnetic detachable wrist rest that you can store buttons or caps for you, a thinner and more ergonomic design from previous models, and even a screenshot button if you want to play on the Switch. I had some hands-on time with the product myself at Evo, and it's legitimately a quality product. It will be available for pre-order starting in September, so please check the link in the video description to learn more, and thank you for 8BitDo for sponsoring the video. So we got a lot of things to talk about, and I'll have everything timestamped for you because there's a lot of great stuff. And let's start with Bob. So we've all known Bob was coming to Tekken 8, and he's definitely one of the fan favorites, very highly anticipated. And it would seem Bob translates very well into Tekken 8. We got some new tricks under his sleeve, but a lot of classic Bob isms. And if you know your Bob, you know, hey, it's all about speed and weight, and they're definitely leaning into that. Cheap shots don't work on his perfect body, after all. Like you can see here what looks to be his heat smash, right? Just the cinematic speed and weight and power, right? Like, it just works. Like, Bob's fun. He's silly. And they got him literally like gut-tanking Kazuya. Just turns out to be the devil, you just need a fat guy. And they're having a lot more fun with that part of the moveset, like the big old belly flops. His rage art saying, eat your calories out, burn my fat, roar my fat. Like, it just works out great. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the punch seems like a little bit like of an Ultraman reference or something like that. Just really good stuff. And early access for Bob will begin August the 19th, so it's not too far away. And the trailer did end with this. So if you don't know the old meme, I guess a man in Australia saving his dog from a kangaroo. And we just, for the fun of it, have it recreated here. And Leroy just giving Roger a good old smack across the face. Just great trailer, good stuff. Harada and others might be gone, but keep this kind of stuff up and I think Tekken will be in good hands. Now, how about SNK? SNK always comes out swinging, and this is no exception. They got a lot to talk about. So one, you're looking at the King of Fighters 15. Okay, this is certainly an older game, right? Well, there's an all-new big balance patch coming for this older game, and it's coming real soon, as in July the 2nd. So it's good to see SNK still paying respect to the modern classics, because yes, King of Fighters 15 is still absolutely one of the best games out there in the market. And it's not much of a surprise, but yes, the SNK World Championship will continue on into the new year. We're going to have Fatal Fury and a bunch of other SNK titles. By the way, Kenshiro is now live, if you haven't seen him already, so go boot up Fatal Fury and go play some Kenshiro. And here's a fun, odd one. So you may recall them doing big money Art of Fighting 3 tournaments. So Art of Fighting 3 is back with the Neo Geo Premium Selection, remastered with, you know, online play, all that kind of stuff. But it's Reignite. Because on top of all the goodies you would expect from the Neo Geo Classics collections, we're getting a full roster rebalance along with the netcode and new characters. Keep in mind, this game came out in 1996. It is 30 years old. And in the year of our Lord 2026, we're getting 2 new characters to the game with a rebalance. Like, SNK's magic. They can just make the impossible possible, turns out. So weird, yes, but very, very cool. And speaking of other older titles, although not as old as Art of Fighting 3, but still, Blazblue Central Fiction. You may have heard the news previously that it is going to be getting an all-new character, and now we know who that is. So this new character is Trinity, who is the true form of Platinum the Trinity, and one of the legendary 6 heroes if you know your Blazblue lore. Now, besides the fact that she's coming to the game, we are very light on details, but the fact that this exists at all, like why is this old game getting DLC? Like SNK does that because SNK is weird like that, right? Arxis, I feel there's more of a message behind that. So maybe more Blazblue in the future? I guess we'll find out. But for now, yeah, we're getting a new character. Now, shifting gears for a moment here, let's talk Invincible Versus. They had the debuts of Immortal and Universa, and those are great characters, by the way. And also, we have some Season 1 DLC plans. This is going to be coming with a lot of skins. We're going to have a balance update as well. And also, we got a little bit of a preview of our next DLC character. So we know Immortal and we know Universa. They're great. And by the way, the business and this is suit, I'm all the way down for that. I just want to put that out there. But it looks like we're going to get our third DLC character will be Angstrom Levy. Going to be playable at Evo France. He could definitely play in some very interesting ways. So look forward to that. Now, how about some 2XKO? So Senna and Thresh, they're like new. So I didn't expect anything really else for the moment. And then all of a sudden we get 2 new characters. Yes, we have Lux will be playable in 2XKO. Lux, very popular, pretty princess, lasers, all that kind of stuff. Translates very well into 2XKO, it would seem. And Lux is perfectly cool. But for those that keep it real around here, we also have Samira coming to the game. Samira, I said this the day Samira got announced for League of Legends, well before there was a fighting game ever announced, right? I'm like, this will be the fighting game Dante if they ever do a fighting game. And here we are, we got our Dante. So lots more content to come on the 2XKO front. They are swinging for the fences. Now, of course, we also have to talk Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. For a lot of people at Evo, this trailer was the show stealer. So we finally now know all the characters. And regardless of what your predictions were for the last team, I feel we're all wrong on something. And so we have all the characters that we knew about, and we thought, oh, this will be the Midnight Suns for Ghost Rider. And then we had the interview that says, well, they're not Midnight Suns, they're outlaws. And then, you know, there was a quote-unquote leak. And I always say for leaks, it's never real till it's real. And it turns out that alleged leak, maybe it wasn't real. Like, part of it was, because we have Magneto, but we're missing another character. And what wasn't on any leak was Blade. Now, Blade looks super sick. Blade's one of those characters, like, everyone has their favorites, right? But everyone likes Blade. Dude is just like coolness personified, and Arc System Works is absolutely doing him justice here. And when we're talking about roster predictions, Loki was not in the cards. Like, we all thought a lot of different things. Sure, I heard a lot of people say Scarlet Witch or like Moon Knight or something like that. Loki being on this team, especially with an Asgard stage, wasn't really in the contention, let's put it that way. And he has all sorts of like magical powers, all sorts of ice powers. He is a frost giant after all, right? So that's cool. And then the big one for a lot of people is Deadpool. So the one thing people are really loving about Deadpool is just the non-stop references. Deadpool is, well, Deadpool's Deadpool, right? So he's meant to be the silly character, breaking the fourth wall as usual. And we got a lot to go through, so let's just rewind back a little bit here, just so we can go through a lot of these. First here, doing the Naruto run, then doing the Johnny Cage nut punch from Mortal Kombat. Now doing the Captain Ginyu pose. You see where we're going with this, right? Now the Jacko meme pose. And of course, we just had a Mortal Kombat reference. Let's do other games. How about Tekken? So the Yoshimitsu self-stab attack from Tekken and Soul Calibur. So we have that, and we're just going to keep going here. How about more Mortal Kombat? Scorpion, get over here. Mortal Kombat uppercut, the toasty inside, the Mortal Kombat 1 Scorpion fatality with the wind pose. Roasty! It bugs me that Deadpool is now the best NRS representation in modern fighting games. That's the thing. But anyways, how about a Guilty Gear style burst, it would seem, with the Deadpool symbol, and then a foot dive, and then the Vegeta assist where he says random BS go, like the old Moon Knight meme, and more Naruto runs. We got Totsugeki, yes. This is indeed Deadpool summoning a dolphin, going into Volcanic Viper. And then the big super, we got lady pool, dog pool, head pool, like all the family. Just nothing but references over and over and over. So yeah, this team is not the Midnight Suns like we all thought from like day one, right? This is the Samurai Outriders. Now, Blade's the only member of the team that's like remotely samurai, I guess, but you go with how it works, right? Just a cool name. It's certainly a bit of a left turn compared to what we thought it would be. But yeah, now we have our entire team and now the complete launch roster of Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. We don't know the DLC characters, we'll find out at some point, but things are looking pretty dang good on the game front. Everything looks better and better and better, and this might be one of the all-timers. And yes, no more closed betas. Blade's taking care of that. We now have an open beta on July 24th through the 26th. So if you haven't played yet, PC, PlayStation, now's the time. For the new characters, we're a bit light on details at the moment, but we know a few things. Specifically, Blade will throw stakes and then can like travel to the stake while the opponent is apparently pinned to the ground and charge up his sword Muramasa, and it'll turn red and it'll increase his abilities. But basically he's going to get in and mess you up, which is very appropriate for Blade. And also for Loki, kind of the same deal. So expect to have feints and counters using illusions, and he's the master of illusions, so this would be the character for it. He's also stated to have erratic movement, so maybe some non-standard movement to kind of mess with the foe, which, in keeping with his just identity of misdirection. And obviously lots of magic attacks. Although it's sad, we have Loki, but we don't have Thor. Maybe Thor will be a year one DLC character, but we'll see. The PlayStation blog for Deadpool does mention his healing factor, actually, and that he has a lot of very reckless attacks, like we do have the Yoshimitsu self-stab. So while it's not confirmed to be gameplay, he might actually be able to heal. That'd be interesting, we'll see. But obviously, yeah, the fighting game references are obviously the selling point for Deadpool. And given that he's got all sorts of swords and guns, I'm sure he'll be able to just fight just well at any real range. But yeah, so Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, things are looking really, really good. Going on to more announcements, we have the new DLC character for Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, and that is Id. Granted, I admittedly don't know much about the extended Granblue cast, but this guy certainly looks very interesting, not the least of which is he seems to have a dragon install in the very most literal sense, in that he turns into a giant rampaging dragon, and also seems to have a transforming sword as well. So I don't know much about the character, but gameplay wise already, yeah, okay, looks pretty cool to me. So we got more life in Granblue yet, and it'll be launching with all new mechanics on September the 17th. And we still got more yet, so lovable Robo Ky is finally coming after all these years to Guilty Gear Strive. And it looks like he plays as wild and crazy as you would expect. Robo Ky's not exactly the most deadly serious character, right? And so you're getting a lot of that flavor for him here in Strive. And he is also out very soon. And by soon, I mean he's out July the 2nd. So only in a few more days as of the time of me making this video. So if you've been waiting for Robo Ky, now is the time to get into Guilty Gear Strive and the new season. Of course, there's more DLC characters to come yet. The next one slated for sometime at the end of the year in winter. So who that is, we'll find out at some point. So as far as like purely news and announcements go, Evo 2026 is one for the records books because we got a lot to talk about. And of course, more even than this video, as we got lots of other videos on the channel. If you want to check those out, they'll be linked in the video description. So lots of great stuff coming up for the FGC, and rest assured, when it time comes, I'll have everything just covered on the channel to the best of my ability. And that all said, my friends, well, that is it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.